Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition and episode of the Chop Sports Daily, coming to you live from the Flipping Made Easy studio right here in Matawan, New Jersey. Very hot Matawan, New Jersey. It's like 110 already out there. It is a scorcher here on a special Feel Good Friday because it is 4th of July weekend. So we're going to celebrate all that independence that we don't have. Yeah. I know I had to throw that in there. But anyway, it is Sturch. It is Gooch. It is Rob behind the glass returning. Ashmere Fit also in the building. Hope everybody's doing well. And a lot to get into. But if you want to support Chop Sports, you could do so by heading on over to patreon.com/Chop Sports. That is the way to do it. $3, $5, $10 increments is the way to get involved with Chop Sports and support the brand. So please be sure to do that. And if you're watching on YouTube, please be sure to like the video. So obviously a very, very crazy NBA day. They delivered a little bit. I think that everybody in unison can laugh and point like a bully from like 5th grade, laugh and point at the Nets because there's a lot of stuff going on. But we'll find out about all of that during Gooch's rundown. Gooch,
yes. What the fuck is going on in Brooklyn right now? So KD and Kyrie look to be both on their way out and possibly headed to the Lakers in a combo package. I don't know how that'll work, but that's the rumor. And this is the NBA offseason. We're not going to get too much into it on the rundown because there's a lot to unpack on the show. In MMA, we had Daniel Cormier and Khabib Nurmagomedov both inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame last night. And nice moment, both teammates. And DC finally admitted to the infamous towel grab.
See,
you know what I'm talking about?
Can you explain that real quick? Because I saw it and I don't know what it is.
He basically grabbed the towel because he was overweight to get like maybe a quarter pound off.
So like he raised himself
created
off
leverage
the thing?
to make himself a
I
little
do that
bit
all the
lighter.
time.
Do that?
Can you do it?
No.
He did that on stage?
He did it on stage.
In front of everybody.
It was talked about a
long
lot
time
after
ago.
it. This has been years and years, and he finally admitted it.
So basically
anyway,
he's a fraud,
wow.
DC.
So
Good
college
job.
football news, we have UCLA and USC both now approved on their bid to join the Big Ten. I think that's going to happen as soon as 2024. Big news for college football. Big news
Going
for
to
the
the
Big
Rose
Ten.
Bowl.
Keeping it in football, we have Deshaun Watson's hearings officially ended after 3 days of, I guess you could say, deliberating, but they will not reach a decision until July 11th on that one. And Brittany Griner's trial is officially underway in Russia.
Is it going to be televised as much as Johnny Depp?
As we probably not. As we all know, she was detained for a marijuana vape pen. And I guess, you want to play, you got to pay. And obviously, we haven't mentioned it, but it is July 1st, and it's Happy Bobby Bonilla Day.
Yes.
So the New York Mets now pay Bobby Bonilla $1.9 million for the next 12 years.
2035 is when it ends.
I read a nice article on ESPN today, and it kind of gave down all the details. So $1.9 million for 25 years it was, and it started in 2011. Right. So the deal was they owed Bobby Bonilla $5.9 million more, and they wanted to buy him out. They deferred the payment 10 years and gave him $1.2 million a year for 25 years. So he's getting paid all that money.
Wait, that math
just so
doesn't
they
make
could
sense.
save $5.9 million.
It's crazy.
It doesn't make sense.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't make sense. So the official is, instead of an annual payout, or instead of getting the $5.9 million buyout, they instead agreed to make annual payouts of $1.2 million for 25 years, starting July 1st, including a negotiated 8% interest, which is what we get the 1.9 out of.
It's a lot of interest.
So interesting.
More
news
interest
about
than any
this.
banks will give
It
you
is
right
also
now.
Brett Saberhagen Day because the Mets are also on the hook for $250,000 for Brett Saberhagen in
Really?
the exact same deal as the Bobby Bonilla deal. And it was actually the Brett Saberhagen deal is the one that inspired the Bobby Bonilla deal. You know what really inspired it? Bernie Madoff and the Ponzi scheme.
That's
they thought they were going to get a
though.
bunch of returns. They never saw them. They thought they were going to be swimming in it, and they actually were.
They're swimming in it
jail.
already.
That's probably true.
Swimming
though,
in
if you
jail
know it is
right
true.
now.
I believe
I read
that.
the article.
Yeah.
So interesting details on that. And that's all we got.
Okay, there's your
Obviously,
rundown.
there's the
There's a
UFC,
lot of stuff
but we're
to
going
get
to talk
into.
about that anyway, right?
Yeah.
And if you're on Facebook, please jump over to the YouTube page,
Yes, that
log
would be
in,
very,
so we can
very,
see who your comments are.
appreciative.
Guys.
Some people, you know what? It's funny. No matter how much you tell them to do it, if it's the same specific person that I think it is, it's almost as if like they have a brain fart and they're just like, okay, I will, but they never do, and they never actually log off. So it's like very easy, guys. In the description of the video on Facebook, before you even click view, there's a YouTube link in the thingy. Hit the thingy, and you're going to be on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like that, simultaneously, instantaneously,
how
on the
about this?
line.
How about this? Maybe we just stop doing that. Maybe we stop going live in Facebook.
Sure.
And just post.
I'm just trying to build as much as people as possible. But yeah, I listen. I agree.
Or we'll just post a link for YouTube. And
sure.
Not the live.
Sure. I'm with that. I'm with that a lot. All right. So NBA free agency, a little bit of a deliver ski yesterday. A lot of bit of a deliver ski. There is a lot to get into. But first and foremost, the NBA sets a brand new record for a contract. Okay. The Joker, the Yoker, Djokovic, bro, Jesus Christ. This deal goes for 5 years, $270 million. The biggest thing that I got out of this was that the 5th year is a player option of $60 million.
How much you want to bet he opts out of that $60 million deal?
And then signs a new deal? Because right now the total worth is worth including this year, $303 million. Now, I raised this question to you before we get into all the money and the gross and the gut nasty feeling you get when you see all this money being dished out. Who's going to be the first half a billion dollar player, do you think? Do they exist right now in the NBA, or is it somebody in the future? What do you guys think? Because I'm curious, because now this one's a total value of 303, and that's for the Joker. Is there anybody? And look, he's a reigning two-time MVP.
We're looking at it is an insane exponential growth, and I feel like the salary cap is jumping up another like 13 million.
No, it was only like a $2 million increase. Kyle had it wrong.
Oh, yeah. So nonetheless, I don't see how it's going to be possible given the structure of the league.
What about the new CBA that's going to be coming up? By the way, there's going to be a lockout.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're just going to be out of basketball next year.
Basketball contracts are only like 4 years. They're pretty much only 4 years, and then it's a player option for 5th,
but the
right?
point, the point that I'm making is there's a structure in the NBA where you can only give a certain amount. Like they can't just the supermax is the most you could get. You have to have,
and you can only get that.
No, but I'm saying like
with your team,
could they have given?
You have to have made all NBA.
Now, could they have given the Joker? You know, they gave him 270. Could they have given him 10? 480 or something like that and spread it out? Are you don't like you just said 4 to 5 year contract seems to be the mold right now.
No, they make it where any team that's not on your team has an equal chance. Yes. So it basically comes down to the player.
Okay.
If it's not a max deal, the teams could outbid each other, but there's a certain amount that they can't go above. And I think that's years and dollar amount.
But that's how they protected teams like Oklahoma City, things like that. Like, so if you were drafted there, you can get more money if you stay there.
Which is also why we have the loophole of the sign-in trade.
Which a couple of these people actually took full advantage of this as we go down. It looks like a plethora of some of the young stars in the NBA have absolutely cashed in, starting with Devin Booker, who I didn't write down his number, but you have it, I'm sure, right? The Devin Booker deal.
It's all pretty much the same. I think it's 4 years, 226 or 223.
Okay, I for whatever reason didn't write that down.
Nonetheless, it's over. It's north of 50 million.
But Bradley Beal, so that's your example, Rob, is when you said if they stick with their team, they get the Supermax, and that's exactly what Beal got. 5 years, 251. So is that what Booker got? 5 years, something.
It's no surprise when you see people opt in on their final year, because even if they want to force their way out of town, which we talked about the other day when Kyrie opted in, you were like, I guess he stays now. And I was like, Dave, hold my beer. Or Kyrie said, Dave, hold my beer. Because now he was talking
to me, actually.
And I don't know if it was Durant that spawned this whole thing, but from my understanding, KD and Kyrie are getting along just fine, and they might want to play together. We'll
talk about that in a second, because that's another
isn't that what Bradley Beal just did, though? What you were just saying, like he said he wanted out, and then they offered him a little more money.
Right. So there's your Supermax, sir. You know, like what else?
They're offering him more money to stay,
but
in
a second.
Bradley Beal is still a trade candidate to me.
Oh well, yeah,
100%. Yeah.
But you told me in the beginning, in pre today, you were talking to me about how these Supermax deals, when you do the whole sign-in trade thing, like the suitor, or at least the other end of the trade, have to meet in some regard based off the salary caps, right? Like if I arbitrarily, I'll do this. So let's just say this, right? And this is not true, but let's just say the Knicks have the salary cap's 100 mil, right? Knicks are 40 under, right? And if Booker makes 30 mil a year, they can just give him a bunch of draft picks and take on the whole contract because they have the room.
Well,
but most of the time you have to swap big contracts.
Both stay under the cap. You have to make it work financially for both teams. That's why you'll see certain guys that are just throw-ins and then bought out.
Right.
You know, a lot of times that happens in a trade.
Well, it just happened to Kemba Walker.
They take a guy that's a big contract and they buy him out because they don't want to pay him or they don't want to keep him. They have no use for him. It's just a contract dump.
So Booker, Beal, Karl Anthony Towns, shout out, local product, gets absolutely paid 4 years, $224 for Karl Anthony Towns. So congratulations to him as well. Moving on. So other guys that got the bag are, well, Ja Morant gets his. See, I'm trying to figure out how these guys never made all NBA.
They're not getting super max.
So they're just getting max deals. See, this shit's all confusing to me. It's all like gibberish. And I'm just like, oh, he gets a super max. He gets a. I'm like, what the fuck? First of all, how in the hell? We went from Zion is out in New Orleans to getting a max deal in New Orleans? Like, how did that happen overnight? Like,
that part of the sign and trade thing.
And how the fuck did they pay him this much money?
I don't think there's a sign and trade imminent. I feel like if there was, we would know about it. But I don't know if there was real legs to Zion being out. It was just the media and us speculating because we saw him doing windmill dunks and warm-ups, and he was saying he was ready. I mean, it makes sense, though, because the Pelicans, were they really going to go anywhere? You know, keep your guy. They obviously had plans to sign him to the Supermax, so maybe all the rumors of there being a fractured relationship, maybe that's just all bullshit.
So here's some Zion stuff. So since 2019, he missed 2019, 2020, 44 games with a torn meniscus, 2021 and 2020, 2021. So he missed 1 game because of a toe, 3 games because of a thumb, 6 games because of a finger, and then the next year he missed 82 with a broken foot. But while he's on the court, he was the first player to average 27 points and 60% of field goal in the season.
Yeah, I mean,
averaged 20 and 3, first in the paint, first player to do that since Shaq in 99.
Nobody's going to sit there and say that Zion Williamson is not talented. We're just saying that the man hasn't played enough for him to warrant a max contract. But I guess when you want to stick around and New Orleans has this time and draft picks and capital invested in the guy, you're going to want him to stick around, I guess. I mean, that's just the way we're doing it now.
At this point, if you're looking at your franchise and financially, it makes probably good sense because they'll now with Zion, they'll probably be playing on Christmas Day. They're probably going to get a playoff berth because Zion is the man when it comes to if he could stay healthy.
They played very well without him this year
but
for a little while.
I'm not so confident that he will stay healthy. He eats a lot and he has that issue. And I'm not talking shit, but it's like, come on, man, what are we talking about here? He's overweight. And I think that's the main thing. The main sticking point for me would be his weight.
I have to also give a shout out to my beloved New York Knicks because boy, oh boy, 4 years, $104 million to Brunson. And then just before
the 110,
it was 104, I think.
You know what? It probably was 110 and 104 was what Dallas was about to offer him, but he didn't take the meeting.
Oh, yeah, I saw that too.
So he basically turned that down to take 110 with the Knicks. And then right before the show, 4 years, $60 million to Mitchell Robinson. Now, the Brunson thing is interesting because there's a little bit more of an issue here. And when we're talking about league rules, okay, like everybody and their mother, any Knicks fan under the sun knew that Brunson was linked, right?
Yep.
They go and hire his dad, right, as the coach. Apparently, Leon Rose's son is his agent. Okay, so there's gonna be. I feel like in the coming days, Mark Cuban is going to say, hold on.
Yeah.
Like, hold on. Why didn't we even get a meeting with the guy that just played for, you know what I mean? Like, I think there's going to be some kind of tampering thing going on here. Because look at all the pieces they had together and everything makes sense.
So, so at the end of the day, what's going to end up happening is they're going to find some billionaire, a couple $100,000. He's going to wipe his ass with it and send it to the NBA. And Jalen Brunson's going to be a Knick. And Dallas Mavericks are probably going to go after Kyrie.
He's also the first player in NBA history to get a $100 million contract without ever being voted to an all-star team.
And shout out to the fact that he's also the first $100 million contract, or not the first, but only the 6th in NBA history as a second-round pick to get $100 million.
Really? Good for him, though.
Notable others, man. Ready for this? I heard it on the radio.
Parker?
Yesterday. Oof. I don't know if he was one of them. He might have been one of them. Remember, there's only 5 others. Names that will jog your memory.
Was Kawhi Leonard a second rounder?
I don't. I have to drop and things just started.
That was good.
I know. I've mastered the Kawhi Leonard.
Draymond Green got a $100 million contract. He was a second rounder.
I don't know, but Nick Van Exel,
ooh,
second round pick, got $100 million. There was somebody else. Man, Nick Van Exel was the one that jumped out at me. And now I can't think of the other ones.
That must have been a big contract for Van Exel at the time.
That's probably one of those Laker days.
Well, they're late. I mean, that's the only days he had. I don't think he had anything else.
No, he was around the league for a bit.
Couple other moves. We'll get into the Nets in a second, but Patty Mills resigns 2 years, $14 million. Can you imagine? Like, yeah, I got $14 million, right? And then he's like, I'm sorry, what did Joker get? $300 million.
He's getting paid that next week.
Yeah, right. Like, how much of a confidence smack in the nuts is that? You know, like,
I mean,
hey, by the way, you're a good basketball player, but look at what the greatest is making right now.
I'm going to take my 14 million.
I mean, of course you're going to take that.
I know one thing. I'm not
Drummond to the Bulls, 2 years, $6 million. You're like, so $6 million for Drummond, and you're looking at the other people in this league like,
well, these guys are signing for the
you're paying the tab when we go out.
They're signing like the mid-level exception when they're getting cut year after year.
Yeah, no, I get that. It's crazy.
He gets to pick a contender every season.
Pretty much, yeah. Like where he wants to go play.
Did I say Mitch? What did I?
Robinson.
You said Drummond to the Bulls.
Yeah, no, I scoop saying Mitchell Robinson. I don't know. LOL. Maybe that's
laughing at us because Mitchell Robinson.
Maybe, or did I say the last? Did I say the wrong last name by any shot? I don't know.
No, maybe it's just a shitty contract.
That could be it. But anyway, we didn't make a graphic for it, but the KD stuff is just
I did.
I don't see it here, but maybe I'm just not seeing it on mine.
Right here.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. Right there.
What the hell? Where was that one? Anyway, maybe Gooch.
Under max deals.
But yeah, the question is to the masses, what the fuck is going on in Brooklyn? Because my God, like this is leaps and bounds the highlight that I needed as a Knicks fan in the offseason, knowing that we weren't going to go out there and spend some crazy money, which they did.
You're giving Mets vibes.
I am giving Mets vibes because the Knicks still, to this day, will always be the Nets daddy in every way, shape, and form. They run New York. This is a shit show. And the fact that KD wants out, Irving wants out, Harden's ate his way out. Like, bro, this is amazing. I called this shit from get. I said, oh, that's cool. You got all these divas on one team. That ought to work out well. And here we are. Yesterday, Kevin Durant asked for a trade. Kyrie opts in. He wants a trade. They might both go to LA. Like, this is unbelievable. Amazing content for the Chop Sports Daily because I'm here to say that New York is run by the Knicks forever. Media-wise, hype-wise, fans-wise, everything. Brooklyn, your scary hours are over. Okay? They lasted 3 minutes and a cup of coffee. It's done. Goodbye.
And I hate to say this. Is fantastic. I hate to say this, but I don't think that the NBA players feel the same way. I feel
in what regard?
I feel like the Nets, the next time both teams are up for major free agent, I feel like the Nets get picked again.
Cool. And look how well it worked out for them.
I'm not saying I'm just saying in terms of like the running New York, there is a narrative that the Knicks run New York because they've been around for much longer. Brooklyn's just got there. They're a New Jersey team. But right now, and I'm only saying this because like neither team has done anything in my lifetime for that matter, right? So
94 was fun. 98 was
Knicks
fun.
Fans,
99 was
Knicks fans taking pleasure in the demise of. I'm like,
it's not that I'm taking pleasure in the demise. What I'm taking pleasure in is the fact that before anything happened, the Nets fans were jumping down the Knicks fans' throats saying, look at this, we're the destination, everybody wants to be here. And before the seasons changed from summer to fall, you had animosity between everybody.
But here's the thing, if I'm a Nets fan and we just signed KD and Kyrie, I'm going to be fucking amped up too. So I understand their excitement, but I don't think you could blame the Nets fans more or even the organization. It's more the players involved. You know, you get these players in the NBA, the way it's set up right now, it's like all you have to do is say, I don't want to be here anymore, and you get your way.
And I'm going to go and deflect or defect down to the Kyle Kerm's way and method of Knicks fanhood. Because, my God, he's right. He's right. The way that the Knicks are doing it right now is the correct way to do it. The way the Warriors did it was the correct way to do it. They didn't have any stars. They created stars. And while I don't think there's any actual stars on the Knicks right now besides a potential in RJ Barrett, who knows what these other guys can bring. Brunson, I'm not going to get wet over Brunson. I'm just not. I know I'm not. So I'm just not. And
I hope not.
But sometimes I do. You know,
you have to look how the league values the Knicks though, because the Knicks were trying to trade up to number 4 to the Pistons to try to get Ivy, right? They couldn't come up with a good enough package from any of their players. Nobody sees them as starters. I get what you're saying. We gotta build
and that's
them.
why I was saying that to Kyle for a week and a half, 2 weeks, was that, you know, hey, we got all these, there's no spots for these guys, you know? And I'm like, well, there is because they're probably better than what we have right now. But the Knicks are doing it the right way. The Nets decided to invest their entire future, mortgage their entire future to get all these players. And this is what's happening. Kevin Durant went there, got the coach fired. Well, the coach is probably going to get fired anyway. Chose the coach, chose Kyrie, chose basically everything. Remember with the whole Kevin Durant's got influence? Well, now
I'm just saying that the Nets
went in there and took the team and ripped its guts out.
But the Nets still have valuable commodities right now. I'm just saying, like,
agreed.
Because
they just lost their stars.
They lost their stars,
or they will eventually.
But they didn't yet. So what are we going to get back? Not we. I'm saying, like, if you're the Nets, like, what are the Nets going to get back?
Well, here's
potential that they're going to get stars back. If they go to the Lakers, what if they get AD and Russ?
Those guys aren't. AD's not moving. But
Russ,
what I will say is,
Russ, that's a big pick for them. I would think.
I think a change of scenery for Russ right now will rejuvenate his career. I truly believe that. What he's doing in LA, there might be too much pressure on the guy to be a scorer or whatever the fuck, and he stinks, and he's not doing well out in LA. He might do better in Brooklyn. I don't know.
You're about to unload KD and Kyrie, right? You're going to get a ton of draft equity. You're going to get a player or two. There's no doubt.
All right, as a Nets fan, right? Just put yourself in a Nets fan shoes right now, and there has been rumors that KD wanted to go to Phoenix.
Phoenix and the Heat, the two top seeds.
Let's just take Phoenix for this example, right? Are you telling me that between the players that are on Phoenix right now, whether it be Ayton or anybody else on that team, there's not enough guys out there to warrant trading away Kevin Durant? I'm sorry. You could trade me 7 guys on the Suns roster, and none of those guys compare to what I got in Durant.
So when you're looking at it, of course, we're talking about a guy
who's going to accept this shit.
We're talking about a guy that's a consensus top 10 talent in the history of the league.
Yes.
So obviously, there's not going to be enough of a return. But given the situation and how little leverage they have in retaining the player, i.e. he doesn't want to be there and he won't play for them, which I'm sure he would, what are they going to do? You got to take the best deal you could get. If they were able to get an Ayton and one of their wings, they're like, two-way players.
Yeah.
And it's in some picks, I think that would be a win.
Well, Ayton, I mean, I guess he's not Kevin Durant, but that's a win. That's a young guy who has a lot of upside to him.
Sure.
Maybe 2 first-rounders and a role player for just KD.
He can't even hold the jockstrap of Kevin Durant.
No, but I think he could definitely. I just think that there's a chance that at the end of all this, that the Knicks and the Nets are very similar in terms of their roster makeup, and the Nets might even be better depending where they want to go with the compensation. If they want all picks, it might take them a little bit. But if they get a player in each of the deals, there's a chance that they could be just as good.
Let me ask you a question. How much? So
it's going to free up a lot of money too.
We get what's going on.
They're going to be like
there.
80 trillion under the cap. They get rid of these guys.
Do you think? And I get the whole COVID thing kind of killed a lot of this, but how much of it does an inexperienced coach like Steve Nash, like if there was a D'Antoni or maybe a Mark Jackson or Pat Riley wouldn't put up with this if he was a head coach. How much do you think they need an experienced coach in there that is going to tell them this is what's going to happen?
Now they don't.
I understand.
Now Nash is going to make like a fucking bandit because he doesn't have to deal with this shit no more once they dish him.
There's rumors of Kyrie literally going into Nash's house with the Nets.
That's fake. But
you think that's fake?
It's on the article was written by Ballsack Sports.
Was it? Or did you see?
There's an actual thing called Ballsack Sports.
Oh yeah, it's hilarious.
No, wait, for real?
Yeah.
We missed the boat. Why do we name this shop?
White Stephen A. Smith or like the Black Adam Schefter.
So he supposedly Kyrie was at the house and was like, "Can you show me where Kobe's
MVP
MVP are?
Kobe's MVP trophies?"
That's really funny though. That's hilarious.
I thought it was but
I just what the Nets are doing right now. And again, what would you? All right, I'll throw a number at you, Gooch. What is the percentage, the likelihood of both, not even both, Durant himself, who yesterday went right to the owner, by the way, not even Marks. He went right to the owners and I want out of here because I think what happened was he found out Kyrie was sticking around. He's like, I'm fucking done with this shit. I don't really want to be around Kyrie. So as much as you think that there's not a friend, I don't know, man. Why?
I know, it looks funny. You're
why?
Right.
Why would he want to trade? His boy just opted back in. Okay, let's run the scary hours again.
Maybe when Kyrie opted in, Kyrie was like, "Yo, KD, I'm not actually staying. I'm just opting in for that money."
Sign and trade, yeah.
But you don't think that, like, if he became an unrestricted free agent by not opting in, that he could have cashed in more?
No, because
it's Kyrie Irving. He's once again, he's one of the better players in the league, if not top 15 in basketball.
But you realize that the opt-in was like, was it like 40 something?
Yeah, no, I know. But I'm saying, you've seen what kind of money these other guys are getting. Would you take Kyrie Irving over a guy like Booker?
The thing is, if Kyrie goes in a sign and trade which is what it essentially would be. It's not really going to be the traditional sign and trade, but Kyrie could be like, well, I'm not going to play for you either unless you give me the extension.
Well, that's why I think that's why he opted in.
And it would happen with the Nets. They would have to do it with the Nets. So he opted in. So if there is a way to get that max deal, it has to be from the Nets. You understand?
What I'm saying? Correct. And what I'm saying to you is the reason why there was an opt-in is because, again, Scoop just saying nobody's dealing with this shit. So he knew he was going to get the biggest payday by opting in. I get that part. But now, what is the percentage?
I wholeheartedly disagree that nobody's dealing with this shit. That's all. Apparently, teams are dealing with it because the Lakers already are trying to work out
to get him before.
LeBron wanting the super. But can you imagine a world?
But you put the Lakers in the mix on a Kyrie Irving trade. Other teams are going to get in the mix once it becomes real. Teams are going to get involved, and they will deal with it because it's the NBA.
Do you think there's any chance that we live in a world where it's Kyrie, LeBron, AD, and Durant on one basketball team and name fifth guy, whoever the fuck fifth guy is?
Westbrook.
I don't think it could work.
We're talking about him.
Westbrook.
But it won't work. There's no way.
No, I don't think it could work financially because
unless LeBron took the super duper team friendly cut,
but he can't
just to get his boys.
He's under contract.
Yeah, he can't.
I'm saying that shit ends in like 2 years, bro. It does.
So you want these guys to wait around for 2 years and then
you don't think they would?
No, I mean, I don't know. LeBron's got
this
40.
is the brotherhood of the NBA. All of a sudden, everybody's getting up to play what he does.
LeBron in 2 years, everything could be.
His son's gonna almost
LeBron's
be
going to be 40.
Things
are going to. The dynamic will change in 2 years, no doubt.
All I'm saying is,
do we see them staying in Brooklyn?
That was my question to you. Percentage of Durant being a net this year?
No, zero.
Both
so he's out.
Zero. They're out.
Kyrie both
out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because again, right now we can't say anything until it happens. We all know and speculate that it will happen because of what Durant has offered, or at least told the Nets he wants out. So you would assume that this shit's going to happen and go down.
Are they moved together or they moved separately? You think they go to the same team?
Oh my God, no. Carmelo's there in LA too.
He's old though. It's like
I can't imagine them going in a package deal.
Oh, this is incredible.
Think about the whole Bradley Beal Washington.
Dwight Howard's still there. I'm fucking this roster.
You think
amazing.
that maybe that's why he chose to sign there too? Maybe it's going to be a swap between Washington and the Nets. KD has wanted to play in Washington.
This whole thing
for a while
get flipped on its ear if after all this shit the Nets landed Bradley.
I don't think KD wants to play in Washington bad enough to like suck. You know, like that roster's not good. And if KD's going somewhere, he already talked about the Heat.
Boston,
and then the Celtics are involved.
So the two 1 seeds.
So he's going to go to somewhere good.
He's crazy because he's like, I want to be the man. I want to be my own person. But you're going.
No, you don't. If you want to do that, come to New York. The Knicks.
Did he say I want to be?
He said that. Yeah, no, he said that when he left the Warriors. He said he wanted to be on the team where he's the man. He said that,
and then he brought Kyrie.
And that not that. He went to the Nets to kind of be the, which I understand is why he didn't go to the Knicks, because everybody knows you go to the Knicks, you win a championship, you'll be okay for a
I think the only way that these two guys are getting packaged together, KD and Kyrie, are going to be as if they go to the Lakers. And I mean, it's kind of counterproductive saying he wanted to be the man leaving Golden State and then teaming up with Kyrie, because right away it's going against what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's going to be interesting.
Should be interesting indeed, folks. All this money being tossed around, they're probably not going to have to worry about their money in retirement, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm here to tell you that the Chop Sports Daily is being brought to you in part by the Fusco Insurance Agency. Are you guys worried you'll run out of money in retirement, or how you'll pay for long-term health care if needed? Will your family be okay? Stop worrying, start planning. A comprehensive retirement plan gives you security and greater control over your money. Michael Fusco can help with all that. He'll explore using life insurance and annuities to help you build a more secure future so you can worry a little bit less right now. Call 718-701-5787 to schedule your complimentary consultation. 718-701-5787. Guarantees and protections are subject to the claims paying ability of the issuing company. Some insurance policies are not available in all states, and I do want to let you guys know, if you're a small business and you want to start offering your customers financing options, he does that too, ladies and gents. 540 FICO score is necessary. So if your credit's in the shitter, forget about it. But if it's 540 or above, you can actually pre-approve everybody for $300 or more. That's how much you can finance. That's that. That is Michael Fusco. Are you hearing things over there? Everything?
Probably next door. Anyway.
Let that happen. Anyway, Gooch has something from Manscaped.
So speaking of vacuums, make sure you bust out your vacuum cleaner after you shave your taint later.
Yucky.
After you head on over to manscaped.com and use the promo code SHOPSPORTS, you receive 20% off your entire order, free shipping anywhere in the world. So it works for New Jersey. Introducing the Platinum Package 4.0. It got everything you need. It has the Lawnmower 4.0 with that 400K LED light and that porcelain blade.
I don't like how you demonstrate like that while I'm like right here.
To reduce the risk of nicks and cuts on your trusty ball sack. Your trusty ball sack. I don't know if it's really trusted for much.
Trusty ball sack
sports. It's trusted for a lot. I got 4 kids.
Maybe Rob's is, right?
So your ball sack has been through the ringer. Okay.
Nonetheless, it comes also equipped with the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer. You have the Crop Razor 2.0, and when you couple all these things together, you're just a handsome fella, right? I sound like Dave now using the word fella. I guess
no. Is it guys and gals? You don't
guys
like?
And gals.
Guys and gals is very
Batman.
Nonetheless,
all right, everybody
manscaped.com, promo code SHOPSPORTS, 20% off.
I like it. Bing. I like it a lot. All right. So on this, as you get the rooting from back in, from beyond the arc, what a read! You did great. Keep going. All right. So there's a lot of stuff going on here in the world. If you want to get the baseball, or do you want to go UFC real quick? Because there is some
I feel like we should talk a little bit about the Freddie Freeman thing because it's
interesting.
We did not cover this for the last 2 days, and I don't know why. It's just sometimes we get on a thing, somebody says something about Zeke and how he's a pass blocker, and all of a sudden the world just fucking implodes. So let's talk Freddie Freeman. So obviously the gist of this story is that Freddie Freeman returned to Atlanta to play as a Dodger. There was a lot of tears shed as they announced him and all this other shit. But the big story is that his agent, I don't forget his name,
Casey Close.
Casey Close.
It's also Derek Jeter's former agent.
Ooh. Interesting. Did not know that. Tidbit. Fun fact. Bing. Good job, Gooch. But that Casey Close did not tell Freddie Freeman about the potential Atlanta Braves counter, I guess.
Supposedly.
This is it's not been proven yet, but Freddie Freeman has already fired Close.
So, yes.
I understand that.
So Freddie Freeman fired Close, and when Close came out with this cryptic tweet, which is really all talking like legal jargon and not really actually defending anything he did, he didn't give a detailed description as to what happened, and he basically called out Doug Gottlieb. So maybe there was some false bullshit in Doug Gottlieb's tweet, but
Doug Gottlieb's pretty good.
I mean, I'm not a fan. I think he's a scumbag, but when we're talking about
totally opposite side of the spectrum.
Yeah, when we're talking about a guy like Freddie Freeman, I just don't see anything about Freddie Freeman's personality, and I don't know him personally, but just judging by the way he's viewed amongst his peers and how he just seems like a really good, good person that's not going to make a rash decision like firing an agent who he clearly has a standing relationship with, and they've made a lot of money together. I don't think that he's going to fire an agent without actually doing some due diligence on what took place. And for Freddie Freeman to fire him, I think that it's pretty much clear as day that this guy fucked up.
Now, my question to the masses and to you, this agent, right? You have to go to school for this stuff. You have to be like a lawyer or whatever. I don't know how I once upon a time said I'm going to be a sports agent.
Illegal,
never happened.
Yeah, you have to definitely get your law degree.
Law degree, right? Should this guy's license be revoked from doing what he just did? He basically said, LA is a great deal. LA is a great place. Atlanta offered you something to stay home, but I'm not going to tell you about it.
I don't know. I mean, like
that's a little crazy.
I think it's
malpractice.
It's definitely unethical. And I feel like when you're a sports agent in the court of public opinion really means a lot. And in this case, I feel like, he might be viewed as if you're between two agents and I don't know, maybe the standing relationship he has with some of his clients, he could weather the storm. But acquiring new talent, I feel like it's going to be an issue for this guy. And I don't know if he's the owner or if he's just working for a firm, but he'll probably be out if he is.
Well, that's the thing. Who's going to hire this guy?
They tweeted out, the firm tweeted out and said that Freeman knew about every offer.
Well,
listen, it's kind of hard. You can't just come out and shit on a guy because
this is true.
You follow Freddie Freeman on baseball.
No. I understand that, but did he? Because why did he fire him?
I don't know. You tell me why I fired him. I don't. Did he?
Yeah,
I don't know. He got him more money. I know he did that. So that's your.
Who got him more money?
The Dodgers offered him more money.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
Well, here's what happens, and I'm going to explain this. So in LA, you're paying a lot more taxes.
I understand that.
So fine, the value. Yeah.
So Freddie Freeman's making less money in LA, but you know who's making more money?
The agent.
You want to know why? Because he gets paid 10%. He gets paid pre-tax. So we're talking about maybe a million, maybe $500,000 that the agent fucked him over on. And nonetheless, I mean, the way it went down was he never told him about the final offer. So even if it was reported, Freddie Freeman didn't know about it until after he had already agreed to the Dodgers deal, right? Or what ended up happening was,
well, maybe he wouldn't have agreed to it.
The agent set a deadline, right? The agent set a deadline without telling Freddie Freeman about the deadline. The deadline came and went, and nothing happened. And then at that point, the Matt Olson trade went down. So the writing was on the wall that Freddie Freeman was out.
Is that the time? But is that the timeline, though?
I mean, that's
you know
the
what I'm saying. There was no Olsen deal in place until Freddie signed. No,
absolutely not.
So the Olsen trade happened before Freddie signed with the Dodgers.
A lot of heat here, saying that Freddie Freeman had issues with Acuna, and you gonna read them? Want me to read them?
Yeah, go ahead.
I've heard that Freddie Freeman stuff may not be 100% true though, because Freddie Freeman was beefing with Acuna Jr. at the end. He just wasn't happy in Atlanta. Freddie Freeman came down on Acuna for wearing too much eye black, saying it was a disgrace to the city of Atlanta and the organization. What? I think Freeman might be a real weirdo. I don't know about any of that.
Well, I mean, that sounds like a dead weirdo thing. But look,
it sounds like it came from Ballsack Sports.
I don't know. I don't know. Obviously, Kyle, I know Kyle takes this position on most of these, and I respect it. And I'm not saying that Freddie Freeman is right or wrong, but when it comes down to it, the media makes a big deal about everything. He's allowed to feel some type of way for a little bit of time. He fired his agent. I think that's well within his right. If he doesn't like the way something was handled, I don't give a fuck if he likes Acuna or not. Mm-hmm. I don't think that teammates need to be best friends for them to be successful. I agree with that. I don't think all the Yankees liked each other when they were successful.
I mean, Jeter and A-Rod were playing together, and they fucking hated each other.
So I don't think that should matter when we're talking about a business and professional sports. Like,
but are you?
They won a World Series together, so whether they liked each other or not, it was clearly
it worked.
Listen, we talk about it all the time. We were like, it never made sense for him to leave. He loved it there. He just won a World Series there, and I feel for the guy. He feels like he was robbed. He could have retired.
Guess what? I'm not a big Freddie Freeman fan either. I think it's like all fluff, and you know, it's very similar to the way I would feel about Aaron Judge if I wasn't a Yankee fan. Case in point,
makes sense.
Very similar to how I almost feel about Shohei a little bit.
I'm not for nothing, but we're gonna be in this bind come next year.
Look, if there's any lesson
in the winter, we're gonna be like,
if there's any lesson
wonder what Judge is gonna do. You know,
if there's any lesson to be learned here, because you could sit here and say all you want about the agent and this and that. Like Freddie Freeman had a really good relationship with the Braves front office. If Freddie Freeman was worried really hard about staying in Atlanta, he could have picked up the phone and called the owner or called the GM himself.
100%,
and he didn't do that. So, Judge, Yankees, call each other. You know what I mean? If you have to cut the middleman out in the final hour to find out what's what, do the damn thing, because you don't want to find yourself in this spot next year.
Especially
and Judge
a player like that.
And Aaron Judge making out with the popcoron guy. Because that was a weird.
Somebody
scene.
posted something.
I'm sorry. What?
So I didn't know that either. And someone put a comment in Facebook about I don't understand.
He's a Dodgers fan. He's a Dodgers fan.
I was dying.
He's a Dodgers fan that was. You were in on the comments, but I don't think you read the entire thread.
So funny.
A Dodgers fan was like, enough is enough. You're a fucking Dodger now. You're getting paid this much money. Blah blah blah. And then he's talking shit about Freeman. People were kind of going at him a little bit. But I understood his position. It's like, bro, you're a Dodger now. I'm a Dodgers fan. Who the fuck cares about the Braves? And then in the middle of the chat, he's like, "Oh, Freeman just homered. We're all good."
Yeah, it was the next comment.
Good stuff.
But there's pictures of Freeman now, literally
making out with the popcorn guy.
No, well, that's when we went back to Atlanta. But yes, he kissed the popcorn guy. But he's
he kissed the popcorn guy.
Yeah, well, that's what this guy said. It was so funny.
What the fuck is going on?
Dave, I'm embellishing
but
here.
Said, you see pictures of him now, where all the guys are on the rail, and you see Freddie just sitting in the back by himself.
Oh, so all of a sudden,
it just looks uncomfortable.
All of a sudden, the picture's being painted. That Freddie Freeman's a no good son of a bitch.
Where was this in the whole free agent process?
Dude. No. See, that's why I don't buy any of that bullshit. But I'm Team Freeman here as far as if there was something in malpractice with your agent, then you fire his ass, right? You're still going to make your millions. You're still going to win your games. You're still going to play for the Dodgers. And if you want to do right, do the LeBron. Go back home. Go back to Atlanta after the contract's done when you're 40 fucking years old and end your career there.
LA is home. That's where you grew up.
From.
So whatever. Home as far as who drafted
home is where your heart is.
But you'd understand that. He was a lifelong Brave. They just won a series. He wanted to retire a Brave. That got ripped away from him. So I understand you'd be angry too. You know what I mean?
But you're saying it got ripped away from him. The guy just cashed.
I mean,
he
also
got a lot of money to play.
You guys talk about all the time. Is it more important to get the ring or the money?
For some people, he was getting the money regardless. So it's
from one of those teams are going to give him the money. It's just a matter of how he got the money.
They're all taking L's across the board.
Yes,
except for the Dodgers.
Yeah, except for the Dodgers is right.
Right, he homered.
It's a weird thing. It's just a weird thing. Anyway, back to a little bit of baseball. There is one thing I wanted to bring up, and obviously yesterday we all watched it. if you're a Yankees fan. Is there any kind of like the Yankees are on this historic tear, right? Still on pace with 98, right? They're just kicking the shit out of teams. Do you any ounce of you? I know last year you puffed your chest out. You're like, I want the fucking Red Sox in that playoff game, and it all came crashing down. This year, it seems to me that the team.
I don't want nothing. I'm terrified of the Astros. We were 3-2 against them. We're 3-2 against them, or 2-3 against them. We beat them twice. We beat them.
So on a 5-game set, we'd be out. What? Realistically, yes.
Not realistically, because they wouldn't have played the Mets
2 games
and
you lost 3.
They wouldn't have played the Mets in between the Yankees starters. Like several, you understand?
Is there cause for concern with this Astros team? Is what I'm saying.
There's cause for concern anytime you're entering the postseason and you're playing really good teams. Of course, there's no guarantees that the Yankees are going to win the World Series or even beat the Astros. But guess what? Jordan Alvarez just bashed his head into the shortstop.
Yikes.
Both of those guys might be out a while. Not that I'm wishing.
Actually, they were available yesterday. They were both available yesterday.
There was like three players for Astros who were hurt. Brantley.
And we still lost.
And like 2 other people.
Brantley's still there?
What scares me is that the Yankees, obviously all the runs that they've scored, the teams that they've kicked the shit out of going into July now. We're in July, right? And we're cruising. The AL East is a foregone lock, and if it's not, then it'll be the biggest collapse in epic MLB history, other than the Mets when they dropped that 12-game lead or whatever with like 15 days to go or something. But like this, in this regard, the Astros have come and beat us a couple times, and not only have they beat us in a way where we can't score runs. Severino had a good outing yesterday. That scares me because we have all these big bats and all these guys that are crushing home runs, but then this is the Jimmy Palumbo effect. Are we supposed to start worrying about averages and nobody can get on fucking base? Like, that's a big deal.
When it comes down to the postseason, your bats are going to get shut down here and there because you run into really good pitching.
Yes.
It is what it is, man. Like, I'm not sitting here saying that we're going to guaranteed beat the Astros. Get to the tournament. We might not even have to play them. If we're the one
if they get bounced, great.
Like, there's no guarantees here. And if we happen to have to play them, I'm not going to sit here and be worried about it. It's not a fist fight. I'm just going to watch baseball games. I think that the Yankees are a better team than the Astros.
Luckily they have somewhat of a get-right series coming up with the Guardians. And, the Guardians are playing a little bit over 500.
We're talking about get right. The Yankees
I'm not saying get right. I'm saying they lost to the Astros in shitty fashion to the point where we couldn't get a fucking hit. Just like we said, when they got no hit and they came out and they won that next game by beating the shit out of them, sixth inning on.
The takeaway here is Severino gave up one earned run.
Did you see that clown try to steal home?
Who? Oh, yeah.
I mean, he was like adjusting his hat. The guys are bolting home.
Trying to call it Bush League. I'm calling it fucking a smart baseball play if he scores.
Did I say Bush League?
No, not you. That's the article I read. It was like, Kyle
why is that Bush League?
Attempts Bush League move and gets picked off trying to steal home.
Isn't that when you're supposed to try to steal when they're not paying attention?
But like he was like
he baseball, Susan.
Yeah, I think that's Severino's got to get his shit together there.
Yeah,
he threw him out. He threw him out at all.
No, but if he wasn't like paying attention, he's saying he wouldn't have thrown him out.
The fact that he even went was like, he's completely disregarding the fact that I'm on third base right now. He took the glove out. He was all discombobulated and he was fixing his computer that they do with the signs. So he was like, yeah. So when you see the throw, that wasn't a baseball throw. It was
it was like a frantic get him out. But they asked Boone in the post game, and they're like, whatever. They asked him about it. He goes, guys, he's out. Yeah. He's out at home. That's it. Like, let's not talk about this anymore. It's already gotten more attention than needed. Oh boy. Anyway, so the Yankees got a big series coming up against the Guardians. The Mets are trying to get back. I know Max Scherzer should be back the next time around in his rotation. And apparently on Sunday, Jacob deGrom is scheduled to start in single A ball.
Whoa.
So that's happening. So the Mets they weathered the storm. I mean, single A to me means you're really off still, like a little bit far out.
Stretch him out a little bit.
But you're going to get that inning of pitching and you're going to get that experience.
Once he's up to like 80 pitches,
boy, oh boy,
he'll be back.
The Mets have weathered this bitch. You know what I mean? And now, once they get right and get all their guys and Bassett goes today against the Rangers. So they're still right there. So
baseball's heating up, boys.
Baseball, baby. That's baseball.
Red Sox are like 21-6.
Nobody cares. Nobody gives a flying fuck.
And guess what? They dropped half a game in the standings.
How crazy is that?
That is kind of nuts.
That's all they got was a half game.
If you're a UFC,
since that meme, they've actually dropped another game. So
that one.
Since that meme came out, so the Yankees have actually gained a half a game in the standings.
With the Red Sox surging.
But the Red Sox reeled a little bit this past couple of days. They lost like 2 or 3 straight. I don't know if they won yesterday.
In any event, if you're a UFC fan, there's some stuff to look forward to this weekend. A big card, actually. UFC 276 has definitely delivered as far as the hype.
4th of July weekend and New Year's is usually the 2 biggest weeks for UFC.
Do they have something on ABC this week too? I just saw that.
Yeah, they probably have. It might even
Saturday. It might be like their pre-shows on ABC.
They're
really?
doing
nice.
Ever since they did things with ESPN, they used to do it with Fox.
Well, they own each other, so
yeah. This is all owned by Disney.
That's huge to be on ABC on Saturday. You got Money in the Bank is on Saturday too, so it's like they're going head and head with each other.
That's this Saturday,
July 2nd.
Holy shit. Okay, I know what I'm doing.
The thing is, they're not really going head to head with Money in the Bank because it's the
main
undercard.
event. Like, yes, I understand that, but I mean that's for ABC. Is people are? I know that's what we're gonna have on Old Glory. Is this the fight?
Yeah,
you guys do that over there?
Well, ABC we will. The other fight will be at McDonald's.
So anyway, it is a big card. We got 2 title fights. We have some title implications in some other fights, and then we have O'Malley on the card, which. I feel like O'Malley came into the scene and everybody loved him, and now I think it's starting to wear.
It's because he teamed up with the 6'9" moron.
Well, I just think it's also his personality. He's
become unlikable.
He's not taking fights, and he's talking a lot of shit. And I understand. Look, when you come into the UFC with a rocket stuck up your ass, sometimes you get pushed too fast, and there could be some smarts to what he's doing, and kind of like, look, I understand where I'm at in my career. He's a younger guy, so it's his biggest test. Pedro Munoz. I think O'Malley has like a clear path to victory here because of his size and his length. But Munoz is an interesting one because he's been in there with the best of the best at that weight class, and he's never been put out. So O'Malley's like the knockout artist.
Yep.
I say if you're going to take any money on this one, Munoz is a plus 250 dog. O'Malley's minus 300. I think this is the closest odds that you've seen in an O'Malley fight since the Chito Vera fight. And he ended up losing that one. So.
Is that the one where he broke his leg?
It's almost straight up, too. With the decision, it's plus 150, and a TKO is plus 150. He's not going to submit him because he doesn't have a ground game. But if I had to pick here, I'm going to go decision O'Malley plus 150. It's the best value, and I don't see him stopping this guy because he hasn't been stopped by anybody. I don't see it's changing now.
And
it's only a 3-rounder.
Has O'Malley fought since the last fight he had with the guy who took it on like 2 days' notice? And he didn't knock him out, but he like beat the hell out of him. The guy kind of gave him a good fight.
I don't think he's fought since then. I don't don't
believe he has.
Okay, so this is his first fight since that fight? Okay.
I mean, like, you can't quote me on it, but that was at the launch party. That was a year ago, maybe 2 weeks from now. Oh, shit. So that was in July, mid-July last year.
21.
I think he might have fought one since then.
We're coming up on the anniversary of that. July 10th.
I'm almost positive that he's fought one since then, and I'm, maybe there's somebody in the Rob, check it, actually.
Where Gooch almost died.
So getting into the next one, we have Alex Pereira against Sean Strickland. This is a fairly evenly matched
Strickland
fight.
Might be my new favorite fighter.
I mean, the more you do a deep dive on Strickland, the more you won't want to say that publicly because he has.
Yesterday's back and forth with Adesanya was hilarious.
But he's definitely a funny guy, and if you're not easily offended, then absolutely he's great on the mic. But like I said, absolute psychopath. He'll be in prison one day.
So he fought once. Nice. Once again. He last fight December 11th.
Okay.
Oh wow.
So
okay.
He did have one fight. No, he won.
No, he won.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing about this fight is that it has title implications. I feel like if Pereira wins this fight, and he's a fairly newcomer to the UFC, I think he has 2 or 3 fights, if that. But he's the last guy that's beaten Israel Adesanya at middleweight. It wasn't in an MMA fight; it was in a Muay Thai or a kickboxing fight. But nonetheless, he's got his number, and I think he's beaten another top level middleweight as well. The name is escaping me right now. So he has in-ring experience. While it's not MMA, he's clearly got the rocket up his ass because he's got that thing attached to him that he's the last middleweight to beat Adesanya. The odds are it's fairly even considering Strickland's been in the UFC a while and he's on like a 7-fight win streak. Pereira's at even money plus 100 and Strickland's minus 120. So take your pick. I'm not even going to get into the methods and things like that. I find it hard pressed to go against Strickland because he's just durable, and I don't know enough about Pereira.
He's adorable. You hear that?
He's durable.
Anyway,
if he fucking hears this, he's gonna hunt me down and murder me. I can't talk about.
Can I make a bold prediction here? As you probably are about to segue into the main.
Yeah,
I think Adesanya is losing this fight.
Well, I'm not going to do the main yet. I'm going to go Volkanovski and Max, so that's the co-main, and then we'll get into the main.
Okay, right, go on.
I mean, everybody that's
hold that thought.
We've seen 10 rounds of Volkanovski and Max Holloway. So I think Max might have won both fights. The first one was a little bit closer, so I could make the case for Volkanovski. I think Max clearly won the second fight. It's very rare. I think most people in the UFC almost feel the same way because it's very rare that you're going to see a third fight against a guy that you've already lost 2 of.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So you're getting a third fight and you're 0-2. I think that people kind of want to see this one again because it was such a good one in the last one. You got to wonder when Max is going to start to tail off.
Yeah, how we see Max
he's been in the
Max
UFC.
Holloway has been in the UFC since I was in high school.
But I mean,
But he's
every
also
month
still in
you
his
hear about
early
him.
30s because he joined the UFC at 18. So when you see a young Max,
yeah,
like,
so you're like a 15-year vet and you're only 33.
But he's also had like a brain situation where he was out of fighting.
How the fuck has he cleared
year.
the fight then? If there's any kind of brain situation,
Dude, he'll fight anybody. He's
no, I
every month
he'll
like,
do it. But I'm saying, how is he cleared?
I mean, like I think that there was a scare and then they figured it out and now he's all good.
He repaired his brain. They put it all back together.
That Max is
all
well
nice and
off,
bush.
and if it was his health was at real risk, which is always at risk, but if there was real risk, he wouldn't be in there. Just to break down some odds, Volkanovski is a 2-1 favorite at -200. I'm not a fan of that. I think that's way too high. And Max is, I think, the best value on this card at +165. KO for Volkanovski is +325, Max +600. It's all day Max by decision at +275. I think that's the best value on this entire card. Volkanovski's a dog. You saw him get choked out by Ortega and just not submit, just not give up like 2 or 3 times in that last.
It's like Stone Cold Steve Austin against Bret Hart, didn't tap out.
And while he's also super durable,
another adorable fighter.
You gotta wonder when all these wars are going to start to take their toll.
Interesting comment here from Casey
war of attrition
in regarding this fight. Here's the weird thing, though. If Max wins, then what? So matchup number 4, I think Holloway is destined for 155 soon. Any credence to that? Yeah,
I think both of these guys are probably destined for 155 soon. As crazy as it sounds, this might be each of their last fights at 45.
This is like their send-off.
Because what's either one going to do? I understand your point. If Max wins, there's probably some budding contenders down there. I haven't really looked at the situation below these guys because I think Max is going to win and we're probably going to get a 4th fight. We're talking about a 4th fight with Brandon Moreno and Davison Figueiredo, and that's in a weight class that nobody cares about. So,
Truth.
Yeah. If it calls for it and there's really a lack of a contender, then yeah, it makes sense and do it. I don't want to see it though. I mean,
are you going to the main event now?
Yeah, so now we're on to the main event.
All right, here we go. This is where Adesanya loses the belt. I got this feeling, man. Listen, all of his fights are fun and everything like that, but I think his time is up. I don't know. Maybe what are the odds of this fight? I don't even know. I have this like gut feeling that this is going to be the end of the line for him.
It's basically you're just going on a gut feeling.
A gut feeling,
This is gut feeling.
Not
Dave
odds, not any.
Through.
Gut feeling Dave. Gut feeling Dave had the feeling when Roethlisberger was doing his last home game. Gut feeling Dave has these gut feelings. And I got this gut feeling. I can't wait to clip this bitch up and show it on Monday when Dave has a gut feeling on a Friday that this is going to happen.
So
what are the odds?
Here's what happens when you make a bold prediction like this. If you're right, you get to fucking clip it
up. And if I'm wrong, it sucks.
And if you clip it up, nobody's going to say a fucking word. You're not going to be like, oh, I was wrong.
I mean,
because it's like obvious that you're going to be wrong. Adesanya's going to kill him.
You think so?
He's going to pick him apart early and often. Cannonier's a tough guy and he's durable. So
the Cannonier last fight was fucking nuts, and I love it. I was impressed, big time impressed.
Yeah, but you got to move very differently against Adesanya.
You're right.
He's not going to be able to take the risks because the counter striking about it. You might see one of the most boring fights in history. Because Adesanya won't break. He's not going to change his game plan. And Cannonier, he's like a calculated fighter too. I guess he's a better wrestler, but I think Izzy's takedown defense in this one is going to be – he's going to be able to implement it. And the only chance Cannonier has is to really take him down and lay on him because that's the blueprint. Blachowicz did it. That's any success that anyone has had. I mean, Kelvin did touch Adesanya on his feet a lot. So I'm not – I just think Adesanya has improved so much since then.
How many Adesanya losses are there? Is there
in the MMA?
Yes.
In the UFC, he's only lost once, but it was when it was recently.
After Saturday.
it was recently. He's cleaned out the middleweight division.
Yeah, I know.
And he's been in some good fights, but really, like, I don't think there was anything that
was middleweight. So that's like Woodley, where Woodley was.
No, Woodley was welterweight. His is 185.
So who's probably like the best ever in that division? Just so in my head I could think.
Oh yeah, Spider is still a guy.
That weight class. Okay.
No doubt.
All right, so Adesanya has beaten everybody. He moved up to try and challenge for the light heavyweight belt against Jan Blachowicz and lost. But it wasn't like, he got pretty much dismantled, but he didn't get hurt. Okay. It was just he laid on him. So the blueprint would be to out wrestle him. You have to be a lot bigger. You have to have some attributes, I think, over Izzy to be able to implement that. And I don't think Cannonier's got it.
All right.
He's just very regular. UFC, durable, but
so 276. So who do you think is the next guy that could step up and challenge him and take that from him?
Well, I don't think there's anybody in the division right now that's going to take it from him. I think that the best chance would probably be the guy that beat him, an Alex Pereira because he has that confidence that he's done it before and he's knocked him out. He's put him to sleep. But MMA is a lot different than anything else when you're factoring in takedowns. Not that you're going to sit there and worry about Izzy's takedowns, but just when you think you don't have to, that's when you do.
We shall see. UFC 276 going down on Saturday. And Kyle was asking before what we were doing for it. I don't know if there's any plan or anybody wants to do it. I know Gooch probably works, but I'm down. I have a little bit of an open Saturday, so I would definitely like to do that. But yeah, that's going to be a show. So before we get out of here, I do want to say and wish everybody a very happy 4th of July weekend, despite your views. Okay, no matter what you're feeling about this country right now, we're all going to still reunite with our friends and our family and barbecue and hot dogs and hamburgers and basically everything we did last week, we're doing it again this week. Not as a company, though. But everybody enjoy. We'll be back here on Tuesday. We're going to take the day off. We're going to kick back, relax a little bit. And that'll be that. But I do also want to take the time to wish my beautiful baby girl, Stella, a happy 3rd birthday on Sunday. So unbelievable how fast that all happens. She's big. She's got an attitude. I still can't say no to her. So it's one of those things I'm learning. I'm trying to do the dad thing as best as I humanly possibly can, but it's not easy. You have a niece that every time I see your niece, I'm like, how does anybody say no to her ever? I know you can't.
I mean, I can in times. Ash can.
Ash says no?
You got to, bro. She's spoiled. You got to.
She's your best friend. Like, Estella is my best friend. And I think that I'm so super proud to be her dad, man. And it's Sunday's going to be litty because we're not even going to do it at what are you doing?
I'm rest in peace to the Pac-12.
Oh,
Kyle's comments.
Oh, well, whatever the case may be. That's great for Rutgers football because I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah, they're going to get now. There's 2 more guaranteed losses.
Whatever the case may be, it's still a nice crowd to go to, or cool if you get to go to California and shit.
For us.
It's definitely cool for us.
What? Maybe you see USC beat up on Rutgers.
So anyway, happy birthday to Stella. Enjoy your weekends, everybody. Be safe. No drinking and driving. Call yourself an Uber. Yeah. Safety first. If I would have thought that, Stella wouldn't be here. Nobody. Anyway, Stella, happy birthday, baby. I love you. And we'll see you guys back here on Tuesday for Sturch, Gooch, Rob, and Ash. This has been another episode of the Chop Sports Daily. Have a good weekend. See you guys then.
America.